Hey everyone, it's Jesse, and today I'm really excited that I get to start a new, brand new project. As if you've all been watching for the last month or so, I've been working on the same project, and I'm so happy to be finished with the project, and I'm happy with the way it turned out, and I learned a lot on the project, and you all helped me so much. But it's good to start something new. So I had a lot of people give me feedback that they wanted to see a project from the very beginning. So this is it. We're going to start from scratch. You can see I have nothing. This is literally nothing on the screen right now. So I'm going to start. Here even my terminal is. I haven't even typed one command yet, and I have a blank Trello board, so no work at all beforehand. We're going to start this up from scratch. So the first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to go over what the project is and what the requirements are, and then that's going to determine how we set things up. All right, so since the point of this stream is to show what it's like for me as a developer, I want to show the whole process. So I'm not going to jump right into the code. We need to get a little bit of planning in as well. So, and I hopefully you all can help me in that planning process. So it looks like we have a lot of viewers right now. I'm going to try my best to keep up with the live chat, but it's going pretty fast right now. So let me pull over my timer. So we're going to use, the last couple of shows we've been using this Pomodoro timer, and I'm going to start this, and then that way every time this Pomodoro timer goes off, we'll take a 5-minute break, and during that break I'll make sure I catch up on as much of the live chat as I possibly can, and then during the other 25 minutes I'll try to dedicate that mostly to focusing on the task at hand. So hey everyone, I see a lot of people saying hi. Let me show you. So here's what the project is going to be. I already know ahead of time I want to do this in React. And I just had somebody said in the Instagram feed. So the secondary feed for this stream is on Instagram, and it's the view of my face as I'm coding. And I just had a question in there. It was from one of my former students, and he asked, "Who is your favorite ex-student?" So, and that's from D-Trav. That was of course his nickname. But D-Trav, since none of my other students are watching this stream right now, I'm gonna say you were one of my favorites. Now I can say that without lying at all. I really did like having you in my classes, so you're a good guy. So anyway, thanks for watching this. I hope everything's going well with you. But I'm gonna get to work now. So anyway, I know I want to do this project in React because I've been working in React. I'm doing a course in React right now. Some future sites are going to be in React. So if you're tired of me doing things in React, I'm sorry. It's going to be more React. Unless there's some really good reason that you all can come up with why I should do this using something else, it's probably going to be a React project. So let me explain what's going on. So my very first project here at this job, almost 2 years ago, my first project was to make what they called a resource center. So I work in the marketing department, and we do a lot of things for all the departments here on campus at this university. So we were constantly getting requests from people, lots of people in different departments, and we just didn't keep track of them well, and sometimes things would fall through the cracks. If we're getting these requests, sometimes it would be you just happen to pass somebody by when you're walking from one building to another, and they'd mention something, or a phone call, or email. So you could see how it easily would get overwhelming, and then there's no record of what we did. So my original goal was to come up with some system where we could track everything, where people could submit, what they wanted us to do, and also where they could get resources that they were constantly asking us for, like logos. They could just go on and get it themselves without having to email people or call people. So I did that, and it worked, and it was great. But now it's time to redo it and update it. So let me show you the old one to give you an idea of what we're working with and what we need. And so I'm going to pull this over on the screen. Let me make it a little bigger. And so this is our current, I guess, kind of internal site. This runs on, it's called JICS. So a company called Genzabar makes this for higher education, for universities. So this is the home page. I did not design this. I'm not going to say any more about it, but it was not me. I'm going to log in and show you the part of this that I did design. And so let me just tell you, when I click this, basically I do some things with z-index to where the page that comes up just hides all the stuff that's behind it. It goes in front of it. So you can see there's definitely some weird stuff going on when it loads, but this is it. Alright, so yeah. Let's check the live chat. Umberto, that really was the menu. Yeah, can you believe that? Yeah, so I think that's safe to say that the UI for that is terrible. I don't think I'm going to offend anybody here at the university. I think there's a general consensus that UI is terrible. So the good news is that UI is going to change. The bad news is I'm going to have to redo all what I've already done. Because Genzabar has finally decided that it's a good idea to have a responsive website. So I'm really glad, because it's 2017 and they're finally having a responsive site. So they're coming down. They're coming out with their version 9, which totally will conflict with any custom themes that have been done so far. So I've been seeing that the only real way to get information about Genzabar stuff is on their listserv. It's crazy. This company is just like, I don't know, like straight out of the 90s and never changed. And I've been seeing over the listserv, a lot of people have been having trouble when they've upgraded with their UI just breaking. So I'm expecting that to happen. So I've decided that I'm not going to try to develop it within here, because let me show you. This is how I have to edit it. I have to actually go into here. Let me show you the JavaScript here. So I need to go in. Let me find see, it's crazy. I can't even find what I'm supposed to find. Let me refresh. Literally, if I want to make any edit, I have to copy and paste into here, into these little text boxes. So I'll show you again. You can see it's so frustrating. I mean, I've spent hours on this, and it's still hard to remember the sequence of clicks that I have to go through. So let me show you. Whoa. I don't see it. I'm not even sure why that. Wow, so I can't even I actually can't even click now. I can't even show you where the box is to edit this, because evidently this entire page now has become a link to Canva. So you can see the frustration in trying to develop this. So I am definitely not going to try to make what I made work with whatever new system they come out with. So that's out of the question. We're definitely we're doing this. It's going to be hosted most likely on a DigitalOcean server, and I'm just going to link to it from within this they call it My Franciscan, but this kind of university intranet. All right, so these are the main things that we need this site to do. Some of these are just links. So this brand manual, this is just a link to a PDF, super easy. So it needs to be able to link to resources. We need to be able to let people download different versions of our logos. So this is what I have set up. This is using, I think, Isotope or Masonry. Yeah, so just has the logos. You can download different versions of the logos, and it does this. So anyway, that's one of the main features. I think the poster one is simply some links and some information, not a big deal. Letterhead is also just some samples, some images, not a big deal. I'm just going to skip ahead. The rest is pretty much the same, a lot of text. The only thing that's going to be a little bit of a big deal is this form. So the form is actually going to change a little bit. We want to change this wording, but as I said, I'm holding off on making any updates to this until we totally redo it, because I'm not going to try to go through the headache of copy and pasting every change. So basically, we need a form. We need that form to be able to upload files, and then we need the data from the form to go directly into our project management system, which we use Rike for project management. So it needs to go into Rike, and it also needs to send out an email to the person that submitted saying that, hey, your submission went through, and then it also needs to send out an email to someone here in my department saying that someone submitted something. Okay, so those are the basic, just the very basic things that it needs to do. So this is not going to be a really, really difficult project. Now, I'm open to changing anything in this UI. So you can see this was early on. This was before I'd kind of refined the brand standards for this university. And but it basically adheres to a lot of what we're doing. You can see material design elements here. You can see it has some of the proper shadows and things, border radius. So it has familiar elements to some things. But if I'm going to redo it, I may as well update the UI. I don't want to make it, I don't want to really startle people, but if the UI for My Franciscan is going to change completely, it shouldn't be that big of a deal if this UI also changes, because people will most likely expect it to change if everything else is changing as well. I currently do have all the other links to things in My Franciscan here. These, I probably won't be able to pull these over, and I don't really know that I even want to, if we're going to make a new site that's not within My Franciscan. So anyway, that's it. I mean, that's the project requirements. I have probably, I'm gonna say, like 3 weeks that I want to try to get this done in. Give or take a week. So I'm gonna go to the live chat. I want to see what you all think based on what I said. So here's what I would like your opinion on. I'd like to know, well, one, is there any really good reason why I should not use React? I'm like 99% sure I want to use React, but just in case there's something I'm overlooking, then I'm open to that. Also, should I use Next.js like we did for the last project, or should I use something else like Create React App, or should I really actually I don't want to attempt to do it completely from scratch and set up a Webpack config and everything, because I just don't think I have enough time to really learn that properly. Maybe I'll save that for a later project, but I'm kind of thinking I ought to just use Next.js. I'm really familiar with it. I could develop quickly with that. I don't necessarily need the server-side rendering. This is not a site that I need to be indexed by search engines. The routing that comes with it would be nice, but there's not a whole lot of routing that needs to happen. Right now, this is all just... I didn't show any of the code for this, but this is all jQuery. Even the routing is with jQuery. So they have hashes for the links, and they all work. So you can actually go to to the URL, assuming that you had a login, and it would take you to the right spot. So that was all custom jQuery routing. But let me look at some of your responses. I see there's a lot of stuff in here. Let's see. I'll see if there's any questions too. I guess I'll answer them now. I wonder what, I'm not quite to the time yet for questions, but since I asked you all so many questions, I'm just gonna check the live chat now. Yeah, some people were commenting on how many people were waiting. There were actually 10 people waiting at one point for this for the video. That was really awesome. Wow, we're up to a decent number of viewers too. 163. That's well above what we normally get. So I assume there's some new people here watching for the first time. So welcome, and please feel free to join in the live chat if you can. I really value your opinion and helping to figure out how we're going to do these projects. So I had some questions. Where are you from? Originally I'm from West Virginia in the United States, but now I live in Ohio. I'm actually right on the border of Ohio, so I'm closer to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You may know, that's kind of a bigger city, so you may know where that is. Someone asked, do you go live? I do stream every weekday, unless something comes up where I can't. Like on Monday, I wasn't working, so but I try to stream every weekday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see. I'm skipping over some stuff here. I will go back through though, and at the end, and try to answer as many questions as I can. Earl asked, do you charge for services on your campus? No, we currently don't charge for the services on the campus, although I think as a department we should charge, and that would give people a better idea of how much things actually cost and whether or not it's a good idea. Because I think right now people just think, okay, we're starting a new thing. We want video, we want print materials, we want an email campaign and a new website and all this stuff, because they never see the bill for that necessarily. I mean, they have to pay for the printing and things, but I think people would be more realistic about what's possible and what's reasonable if they did have to pay. Someone mentioned that I am salaried. Yeah, so I am salaried here. Okay, someone mentioned that the microphone is buzzing. It's probably my phone. I'll try to move my phone a bit farther away. Let me know if the mic is still buzzing. I moved it a bit. I see us. Some people were saying it makes them want to cry when they saw that site. Yeah. That was the first thing I saw when I came here, my very first project, and I was just... It was amazing that I stayed. All right. So I'm getting to... So there's just so much in the live chat going on. I'm trying to find. I know I saw some people give me suggestions about what we should build this in. Here we go. Xana said, if you need an app too, why not refactor in React Native? It would be cool actually to make this an app. That would be really cool. Okay, so you have people saying, yeah, use React. Some people said Next.js. Okay, Preact. Create React app. Don't reinvent the wheel. Create React app. Okay, so we had some people, a lot of people saying create React app. Okay. Maybe we'll do that then. We'll use create React app. All right, let's do that. It looks like we had a lot of people saying use create React app, so I'm going to go with that. We're going to use create React app, and then we'll use, we don't need anything crazy for routing, so we'll just use basic like React router, and I think that'll work. That should work, yeah. So I will say this is going to be more of a learning experience for me because I do have a lot more experience with Next.js, more so than I do with create React app. So I'm going to be learning along with you. I am using create React app in my React course that I'm doing right now, and that's the one from Udacity. So I'm not in, I have used it before. So I had up on my screen, oh, here we go. I had it ready. Basically, I had the Next and create React app ready to go, so we could kind of walk through some of the installation process. Let's also start. I'm going to show you how at least I plan out my projects. So I'm going to do a to-do, ready for dev, in progress, testing, and done, and then wish list. Okay, so we're just going to make some basic cards. So it's going to be and whenever I do things, I always put an estimate. So I'm going to include some other setup things in there. That's why I'm saying it's going to take, I estimate how many Pomodoro cycles everything will take. So let's see what else we want to do. I kind of don't want to break down everything right now. Yeah, I'm going to, unless somebody really wants to see this, I'm going to fill out these cards afterwards because I'd like to get pretty detailed in all the steps, and that'll probably take a long time and won't be that fun to watch. So since we are going to work on this today, I'll just fill this one out and I'll move it to in progress. But the idea is I take all the tasks I know I need to do, I estimate how much time it's going to take, and then I move them along the process. And when it's done, I also say how much time it really took. And I don't think this is public now, but I'll make this public so you all can see it as well. Alright, so I'm going to make the font size a bit bigger so you all can see. And this is just the Create React App GitHub repo if you want to follow along. So let's go through the setup process. I keep all my projects in a projects folder, and let's say resource center, yeah. Okay, so I'm not going to use npm, I'm going to use yarn. So let's go yarn. If you're not familiar with yarn, well, if you're not familiar with npm at all, this is a way to install Node modules. So Node.js is a way to use JavaScript server side and not just in the browser. And so npm is the way that you pull in different little bits of code that people have written and packaged up in these little modules. So you pull them in with this command line tool called Node Package Manager, or npm. Yarn it basically does everything that NPM does, but it adds a few extra features. One thing it does is it seems to be a bit faster, and it keeps better track of like the exact versions of things. So for now, if you're new, just know that you can use Yarn or NPM interchangeably, and they'll work. So I'm going to pull in this create React app NPM package. So I'm going to go yarn add. So just a little bit different. Create React app. And I don't think I have. I'm not going to worry about installing this globally right now. I'm not really sure how many times I'll use this. We'll see how it goes with this project. Alright, so actually let me see if this created. I'm going to open this up in Atom. It should have, yep, it did. Okay, so we have now a package JSON file with this dependency of create React app. I didn't fill out anything else from the package JSON file, but I can always do that later on. And now let's create the app. So we'll type in create React app, and then we're going to name it I should have done this one level up. Oh well. Alright, so it looks like the mic is still buzzing, so I'm gonna move my my phone, try to get it farther away. I may just have to, I had it plugged in and charging right now, but I may just have to keep it unplugged and move it like really far away. Alright, let me know if that's it. Yeah, okay, Sebastian, I see your thing. So I did realize this. So let me just go back because I messed this up. I really should have installed this globally, and I wasn't thinking when I first did it. So dang it. And I wasn't thinking then. I got sidetracked and typed in. So let me go back out here. Oops. RMF. So I'm going to remove recursively everything in that Resource Center folder. Alright, so now I am going to do this properly. I may already have this installed. No, actually, I think it's on my laptop. I don't think I installed it here. Right now I'm working on an iMac. Okay. So now let's try this again the correct way. Now is a great time to give my normal disclaimer that this is entirely live and not rehearsed. So you will see all of my mistakes. I do my best to not make them, but as you know, like everyone, I'm not perfect, so I will make mistakes, and you'll see that. Hopefully you all can learn from my mistakes along with me, and maybe you won't make them because I've already done it. Create React app, and now we're going to call this Center, Resource Center. Let me make this a bit bigger. It just occurred to me that this was still pretty small. Alright, so now this is doing its thing. Alright, it's installing. So if you want to try this out and read all this installation stuff, you can, but basically it's installing everything that we need to build a React site. Alright, so while that's running, I'm going to come back and catch up a bit with the live chat. I think my timer did go off. Let me find it here. Yeah, it did, and I didn't click the break, so the short break. So let me take a few minutes. I'm going to go back through and try to answer some questions, especially if anyone's new and you ask some questions. Definitely want to get to your questions. Hey everyone, yeah, I'm seeing a lot of new people, so welcome. I really appreciate you watching, and feel free to ask any questions. I'll try to get to as many questions as I can, and don't worry if you're new and you're not sure what's going on. I'm happy to explain anything, so just let me know. Let's see. Rachu says, can you please train us with some Java projects? I don't do anything with Java, at least not for years. I haven't done anything with Java, so I won't be doing anything with that. Carlos asked what terminal I'm using. It's iTerm. I think it's iTerm 2. So, yeah, it should say, yeah, iTerm 2. Earl says, very cool that you're doing this for everyone. Thank you. Thanks for saying that. Hopefully, you all can get something beneficial out of this. I know I do from all of your input. I get Kazakh, I can't pronounce that, but if the first part is Kazakh, says, hey Jesse, many thanks for what you're doing. You're welcome. Thank you so much for watching and for saying that. Park Ryan says, love Free Code Camp Live. Awesome. I love that you're watching. Thank you for saying that. Philip said, woot woot marketing. So I think Philip's in marketing as well. I think I remember talking about that before with you. I just saw Raunak said from 1995 to 2017 in one click. Yeah, so that's when I went from the from the one site into what I had done for it. Yeah, everybody was really surprised whenever I built that. It kind of caused, I don't know if I want to say trouble exactly, but it was like, it caused trouble in that other departments then immediately wanted similar things for their sections of it. And so that kind of caused trouble because people were asking, they were asking the people who were in charge of that site to do the same thing that I did, and it just, so it was a little bit weird. I was happy that everybody likes it so much, but there's a little bit of tension over it. Okay, so this had worked. So I didn't get through all the live chat because there's so much in there right now, which is awesome. I think that's so great. You all are so active in the chat. I just see Umberto's comment. It says mumbles .Net Core with React.js.Net. So yeah, I'm not going to be doing any .NET stuff anytime soon. Although we do have some sites that run on .NET that I'll probably need to be doing something with. So it's possible there might be some .NET stuff happening. So I'm going to go back. Let's see. Oh, I guess my 5 minutes isn't up. So I said I'd give 5 minutes to the live chat. So as soon as that timer's up, I'll go back to it. Let's see. Okay, so Scotty says, Scotty is new, so hey, welcome. Raunak says new, awesome. Mehmet says, I don't understand how devs can allow client-side rendering because my first rule is never to trust the client. Yeah, I mean, there's benefits to doing client-side rendering, so, I mean, I wouldn't, obviously the best, I like to do both. to have server-side rendering and client-side, then you get the benefits of each. So, that's my preference. But I certainly, I don't like to render everything client-side unless there's no other way, which there's usually another way. All right. So, yeah, didn't get through everything in the chat, but I'm going to go back over to here so we can kind of get through some stuff, and I'll come back into the chat. I did just want to get through that first part, because once we get a lot of messages, I won't be able to read the stuff that you all put in the live chat earlier on. All right, so let's check out the message that it's given us here. It says, success, awesome. We created Resource Center inside that directory. Okay, so it's telling us the commands that we can use, and using yarn as well. So we can start our dev server with just yarn start. We can build our files if we need to, which we won't need to do that for a long time. And okay, we can run tests, and then if we want to, I don't know that we're going to have to do this, but we might at some point. We might need to do this. We might need to use yarn eject, and when we do that, then we're going to be able to configure things a lot more than we can now. So create React app it's really nice because it gets you started with things without needing to know anything about Webpack or all the build tools that you're using. But you have to give up some of the freedom to customize in order to get that. And if you don't eject, then you can take advantage of all the updates that come out. But once you eject, then you have to handle some of that stuff on your own. So we'll see. We might need to eject at some point. I'm thinking possibly to handle some of like the file upload things, because what I have used some things in the past that I'll need to do like some custom stuff with. So we'll see. If we can make it through without having to eject, that would be ideal, but I'm not opposed to doing it. Alright, so as they say, we could start by CDing into Resource Center. So let's do it, and then typing in yarn start. So let's see what port. So starting the dev server, it showed up in this little tiny window. Alright, so here we go. So here it is. So as you can see, it didn't take that long. It would have been really, really fast if I hadn't to spend so much time messing it up and then talking. But in very small amount of time and effort, we now have a React site, and it works. I love that little animation. That's cool. We also have this available on the network, which I didn't realize that. The last time I built that, I didn't even know. So that's really cool. So obviously this is not what we're going to keep. So we're going to get rid of all of this and everything, but it's good to know that at least it's working. So let's check out what code we have now in that. Let's see. And I think I'm just going to exit this because this had our old stuff, the one I messed it up. And I'm going to duplicate this tab because this is going to stay open with our server, but then now I can't do anything on it. So I'm going to duplicate that. So now I'm in here and I want to see, I'm going to type in Atom and then dot, and that's going to open up Atom. And let's get rid of these welcome guides, and let's see what we have. Let me make the font a bit bigger. Alright, so here's our package.json file. If you're not familiar with this, this is the file that it lets us know a little bit about the project and what dependencies that we're using. So, like what other packages. So, essentially, when we have a package.json, our project is now an NPM module. No, we're not really worried about it. Most of the time, nobody's going to download our stuff as a module, right, if we're just trying to create a site. But the official name and everything is, this is kind of like an NPM module, how it would normally be set up. So we're not really worried about. I don't worry too much about editing kind of this up here. What we want to worry about more are our dependencies and our scripts. We're not going to change anything right now. At some point later on, we might, though. We might want to add in some, some things to process our CSS. We'll see. We'll see what we need as we go on. And let's see. It did make a README for us. Right now, this README has a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff about Create React App. So at some point, we'll probably do a proper README for our project. But for now, I'm going to leave this in here and possibly refer to it if necessary. And let's see, what else do we have? The yarn lock is a file you'll never want to update this manually. And then you have your git ignore. So this is gonna. So we're gonna use Git for this project, but this is gonna tell Git the files that it doesn't need to worry about tracking. Okay, so this is pretty standard. You generally don't want to track your node modules. And depending on what you're using for your project, you might have different things that you're not going to track. So the next step is, let's check out our source. And so I want to open up some of the pages. So this is our index.js. Okay, so all this is doing is we're importing some things, and then we're rendering the app component. So let's check out our app component. So we have app.js, and this is where we start to see like things that actually look like HTML. And this is called JSX, so it does look like HTML, but it behaves a little bit differently. So we use class name instead of class. That's kind of a big obvious thing right off the bat. And then we can actually put JavaScript inside of brackets. So this logo here is actually a JavaScript variable. We're calling on. We've imported logo from the logo.svg. So those are just a few of the different things, and we can see. We can change some things. So I'm going to add some exclamation points because I'm super excited, and I'll show you. See, now we have the exclamation points. So that's the file that we're going to start editing first. And at this point, what we want to do is, I guess we should set up our Git. Let's set up Git first, because I want you all to be able to see all this code. Normally, I'd actually wait a little while to set up Git, because I do some just basic stuff to set up the project. But in this case, I think it would be better if you all could see and interact with all of the code. So let's do that now. So we're going to do git init, and that's going to make this a Git repo. Alright, so now let's do git commit. Let me do status just to show you. Alright, so we have this git status. So we have these files that are untracked, right? And notice that these aren't all the files in our project, so those ones that were in the git ignore aren't listed here. So we're going to do a git add, and I'm going to just put a period there, and that's going to add everything. And now if we look at our status, you can see we have green. So now we're ready to go to add all of this. So I'm going to go git commit, and I'm just going to do the M flag, which means I can put the message right here in line for this commit, and I'm just going to say init. This is our initial commit and there we go. So now this is a Git repo. Let's set up the repo on GitHub so that you all can see what's going on. So I want to go into my GitHub. Actually, I'm going to do this in the GitHub for my department. So let's go. Let's make a new repository. Resource Center. Okay, so we're going to have a new repo called Resource Center. And alright, so just a quick description. We're going to make this public. There's no reason right now that this should be private. I am going to have some API keys and things later on that I'm going to need to use, but I'm going to use it server side, and I'll use environment variables that won't get shared in the repo, and then that way I can still share all the code without worrying about sharing API keys. So when we get to that part, I'll hopefully I'm able to do that in a stream, because I think that's an important step. If you've never done that, it's good to know so you don't accidentally share keys that should not be shared. So we don't need a README because we already have one. The same thing with the git ignore. We don't need one. License. I'm not really worried about a license right now. Let's see. So let's create this repo. All right, now we have an existing repository, so we want to push that from the command line. So we're going to copy this git remote add origin. Alright, so basically we're setting up our remote here at this address, and then we're just going to push everything up to GitHub. So here's our first command, and then here's our second. There we go. And let's check out the repo. Alright, awesome. So here's our repo. As I said, the README has like everything from the Create React App README, which we're going to take out at some point. But for now, that's in there. It shows our first commit. It shows our code. So it shows like our app.js, so you can even see where we added the 3 exclamation points. So there you go. So now you can look at this. I'm gonna paste this URL for the repo into the live chat, and then I will be putting this in the description for the video, for every video, so that you all can see it. So there it is in the live chat, and I'm gonna check my timer. Okay. Let me move this off, and let's bring this in, since this is where we're going to be doing, we want to see the work. So we have to come up with how we want this layout to be, how it's designed to be. Now we have some brand guidelines that we need to follow. We already have how it looks now, so we just need to kind of determine, well, how do we really want this to look. Also, we got to make another decision here, and I need your help on this one, because I know what probably should be done, but I don't know if I'm ready to do it. And here's the thing. I've used Materialize framework for all my CSS, but it's based off of jQuery, and it's not good to modify the DOM with jQuery when you're using React. You want to modify it in the React way, preferably using state to re-render things. So do I use Materialize framework again and just deal with the fact that I'm going to have some jQuery? Do I try to use Materialize but don't use any of the parts that use jQuery? Or do I try to just completely do it from scratch? Doing it from scratch is going to take a long time. It would be cool to try to convert, maybe use Materialize but then convert some of the stuff that it has. I'm not really sure. Or is there another library that I should just try to use instead? I haven't seen a material design React library that I really liked. There have always been things about the ones that I've seen that were kind of like deal breakers for me. I didn't want to use it. So I'm going to go to the chat. I'm going to see what you all think about that before I make a decision on this, because I mean, I'm at the point really where I'm going to start putting content in. So if I'm going to use a framework, I need to know, because my markup is going to be based off of that framework. All right. Okay, got a lot of suggestions here. Let me... Actually, it says, Bill said, you plan on using tests for this project? Actually, I hadn't even thought of it, but that's a great idea. I have not used tests very often at all. So maybe I should. I do want to learn how to do tests, so maybe now's the time to start. Maybe this is the project where I finally do all those things that I know are good ideas, but I've always put off because of tight deadlines. So we'll see. All right, so we have Material UI. So these are some suggestions for alternates to Materialize CSS. So there's Material UI, React Materialize. Okay, another suggestion for React Materialize. Bootstrap. Okay, another suggestion for React Materialize. Wow, okay. Okay, so it seems like if I'm going to go with a framework, the most votes in the live chat go to React Materialize. So let me bring that up right now so everyone can see what we're talking about. Alright, so let's check it out. React Materialize. Let me see. Looks like I've already gone there. Alright, so this is what we see. React Materialize. Alright, this is, at least this would be consistent, I suppose, if it's based off of Materialize. It'd be consistent with what we've done before. I'm assuming some of the markup and classes would be the same. I'm also assuming that for sure they're not using any jQuery. I think it's safe to assume that. We'll see. Okay. I need to see. Let's see what the forms have. Okay. Not bad. Row. I'm liking this so far. This would have been helpful in our last project. If you remember, we had some trouble with our selects. Okay. Let's see how the date picker. Oh, nice, nice. Great. Okay, and hold on, JavaScript. Let's see. I want to see if it says for sure that it's not using jQuery. This has actually come a lot farther along than when I first looked at it, so I'm really impressed with this now. I mean, maybe I just didn't do a very good job of looking at it all, but I thought the last time I checked, which has been quite a while, that it didn't have nearly this much. So I do want to verify that they are not loading jQuery. Oops, and it looks like... Alright, jQuery is being loaded. Let me see if... Let me check their GitHub page. Does anybody know for sure? Have you used this, and does React Materialize actually use jQuery, or is that being loaded for something else on that page? Oh, it does say. All right, Carlos, I see that. Thank you. I think Carlos answered my question before I even asked it. So thanks for being so on top of things. All right, so we're really getting started. Let's see. Yeah. Alright, well, it looks like I was really excited about this, but this is not what we want. What we want is this without the jQuery, and I know it's got to be possible, right? I mean, there's nothing special about jQuery that can't be done in React. So yeah, we're going to it's gonna have to be a no for React Materialize. I feel really bad about that because it looks so promising. I was actually have been really considering trying to contribute to this too, because I want to do this as well, and I didn't want to just start my own thing if they're already doing this. But if that, I don't know if they intend to try to do it without jQuery or not. If that's their intention and they need help, I'd be happy to try to do that, but for now I just don't. Yeah, alright, so I'm not going to use that. What was try material UI? Let's see. Alright, here's Material UI. Let's see some of the components. I'm really interested in the form components, since we will have a form. Alright, so let's see, text fields. Okay, that looks good. Let's see how the code looks. Alright, that's pretty clean. Before I go any farther, I'm going to check right away and see what is being loaded. These are fonts, browser stacks, CSS. Alright. Cool. Alright, that's good. Let's let's see. Date. I think we do use a date picker. Okay, cool. That looks good. Select. That's what. It's crazy. I'm looking everywhere, and this is in alphabetical order. It shouldn't be that difficult. Okay, that's not bad. I like that. Okay, I'm liking this so far. Let's see. I'm going to go to the live chat really quick to see if someone has contributed some important information before I commit to this, but I think this is going to be what we go with. Okay, Greg is asking, please say if you're going to start doing tests. I'm listening in the background. I really want to start testing myself. I always have issues doing the setup. Well, I guess I probably should start doing tests. This is going to be a small project, so it's probably better to start with something small. So I'm going to try to start doing tests. I can't guarantee that it'll be that helpful to you since I am not that familiar with tests, but I'm going to try my best to do some tests. Josh Arnold, this video will be available after I'm done streaming. So the secondary stream on Instagram is over now. You can only stream for an hour. So just to let everyone know, in case you were wondering. So I did have some viewers in there this time. And so that will be available for 24 hours in case anyone cares what I look like. Not sure why you would care, but maybe. Earl Lewis says, isn't jQuery dead? No, it's not dead. You might call it a zombie, so I think it's more undead. Like, it'll always be around. You can never really get rid of it. I don't really have that much of a problem with jQuery. It's just when you use jQuery with React, then you mess things up with. I don't want to get this wrong. I always say the wrong thing. Help me out, everyone. It's virtual DOM, right? React has a virtual DOM. I always accidentally call it the shadow DOM, and I don't think that's the right term. React has a virtual DOM, which is like a copy of the DOM, and if you change something in the DOM without doing it the React way, then React, it doesn't have an exact copy of the DOM, so it messes things up. Okay. Oh, Maxime asks, what's the timer? It's a Pomodoro timer. So for right now, I'm using the Pomodoro timer to help me get an idea of like how long I'm doing things. Through my normal work, I time everything I do with this, and it helps me to break up my work and estimate things better. But then during the stream, this helps me to remember to stop what I'm doing and go to the live chat, and then also to stop looking at the live chat and do my work. Okay, and it looks like React, there's some people talking about React Toolbox now. What's React? Okay, cool, it is virtual DOM, so I got it right this time. Alright, let me check out React Toolbox since I just had a lot of people talk about React Toolbox. Yeah, Maxime, anyway, the timer, it's just tomatotimer.com, so tomato-timer.com. Really simple. It works for me. There are some ones out there with different features, but I don't need all the other features, so that one just works fine for me. It's right in the browser. What am I looking at? Material. Alright, I'm just going to very quickly look at React Toolbox because I don't want to spend too much more time on this. I mean, it's definitely an important thing to spend time on because this is going to determine a lot of, what we do from here on out. But, okay, so view for material design components. It says... Okay. I like that. It looks nice. This looks good, but do they have... it doesn't look like there's a lot of components, though. Like maybe I'm missing something, but I'm not seeing like a select. All right. Okay, Mobbin says Material UI has tests in GitHub, so I guess that's better. For me, Material UI is fine. Let's see. Anurag asks, what are you making? How is React useful? I'm making basically a website that needs to, users can go on there, download PDFs and images, and then also they can upload files and send information with an online form. Actually, I've actually been meaning to update this with some other cool things. I'm not gonna commit to anything right now, but I do have some ideas to make it a bit more interactive. Particularly, like maybe giving users the ability to check on the status of their submissions and possibly even edit them. So, not 100% sure if I can do that through the Rike API. That's our project management system, but I've thought that possibly that would be cool to do. Oh, drop. Sebastian says, look at the drop down in React toolbar. Oh, okay. So basically the drop down is like the select. I see. All right. Since I can't decide, here's going to be the decider. Whatever project has more stars on GitHub, that's the one I'm going to go with. I don't know if that's the best way, but I don't have time to do any more research here on the stream. So that's what I'm going to go with. So let's check out the GitHub repos for each one. I appreciate everyone giving their input. So let's see. Alright, so we got 27,000 stars, and this one has only 6,000. Alright, so I mean, I guess it's pretty, it's much different here. Alright, so I guess we're going with Material UI. My reasoning also behind the number of stars is that probably means more people are using this, and there's more, like there'll be more stuff on Stack Overflow about it if more people are using it. So if I need help, I can find it. So it's not entirely without a foundation there, but assuming that the two frameworks are pretty much, you know, similar in what they offer, I'd rather go with the one that's used by more people, just to have that kind of that community that I can go to for information. So let's do this. Let's install Material UI. Now, do we want to do the pre-release? I don't know. Maybe I'll just stick with the stable one. Okay. Where's my... So let's do this. Let's go... What was it again? I think it's just Material UI. Yep. So let's go yarn add Material UI. Actually, I'm seeing this React Tap Event plugin. I had issues with this before. I think someone who watches these streams asked me to check out an error they were having, and it was related to this React Tap Event plugin. I'm gonna have to go back through maybe like my Twitter messages and see what that was, because I don't want this to mess us up as well. So I've definitely had this error before, and I've figured out some way to fix it. I mean, it's not an error right now, it's just a warning, but in the case where I saw it before, it was actually messing things up quite a bit. So I don't remember who it was, though. If it's someone watching right now, let me know. Otherwise, I'll have to look back through. So hopefully it won't be an issue. Let's go get status. Let's go add material UI. Alright, so for now everything's going to happen just on the master branch, since this isn't even live at all. At the point where this goes live, then everything will switch over to a development branch. If we're doing any like really crazy changes, we'll have another branch for that. So for now, if any of you are interested in submitting any pull requests, like you'll want to, obviously we only have one branch now, so I guess it's a no-brainer, but just to let you know, eventually it'll end up being a dev branch. So if anyone's really interested in getting some contributions for your GitHub profile, I'm definitely open to that. Right now there's really not much going on, but once we get started, there'll be some more obvious things, ways to contribute. So and I don't expect anyone to take time out of their day to contribute to my projects, but if you'd like to, I do appreciate it. Alright, so let's go to the here's a quick sample. So I've never used this, so I'm gonna have to go through how to use it as well. Okay, here's that React Tap event thing. Okay, so we're gonna have to just inject this tap event. Alright, so let me move this over here and we'll look at the code. Oops. I guess it was I on the break and I started? I can't remember what I was doing. Alright, I guess I'm going to go back to the live chat for 5 minutes now then, since I haven't gone there in a while. I don't want to lose all the things at the top of the chat. I'm already starting to lose some of it. So anyway, yeah, so for the next 5 minutes I'm going to be going through live chat stuff. Got some more new people I see. Welcome, thanks for watching. Sushil asks, are you starting the whole project from scratch? Yep, starting everything from scratch this time. Ahmad says, first time in here. Thanks for doing this, Jesse. You're welcome. Thanks for watching. Sriram says, yeah, there are lots of new people. It'd be awesome if you can explain from basics if you can. Okay, yeah, I'll do my best to try to explain everything. In terms of just the stream in general, I think I mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again for new people coming in. This stream is just me doing my normal work. I work at a university. I'm a front-end developer, so it's not rehearsed beforehand. You will see me make a ton of mistakes, and together with your input, we're going to build some cool stuff. And this is definitely not a tutorial, and I'm not claiming that I have the right way to do things either. So just realize that I'm learning how to do React, and I'm always trying to learn and do new things. So it's not going to be like the place to go to get a step-by-step tutorial, but it's definitely going to be if you want to know what it's like, at least for me, day to day as a front-end developer, then this is a good place to go. We've built up a nice community here in the chat, so people are very helpful. If you have questions, feel free to ask them. I'll try to get to as many questions as I can. You can put questions in the comments too, and you can direct message me on Twitter if you like as well. I try to get to everybody's questions as soon as I can. I think that's it. I think that's my the normal stuff that I say. So if you're new, you should be all caught up then, and you know what the stream's all about. Sorav asks, any plan for a small React project from scratch? Yeah, it would be cool to do some videos and just do a really, really basic project from scratch. This is going to be a small project, so it's kind of going to be like that. It'd be cool to do a video where I do the entire project start to finish, including everything. Maybe one day I'll do that. This is not going to be it. There's definitely going to be stuff that I do I don't stream, just because I need to work on this, you know, while I'm at work, and I'm not going to stream the entire day. The Raf says, I'm new to programming, and so I wondered what tip you have that's the most important. Honestly, I think if you're starting out, the most important thing is just keep going. Don't get discouraged. Always keep learning. So yeah, that would be the most important thing. Like, just always keep learning and trying new things. If you ever get to the point where you feel satisfied, like you don't need to learn any new things, then that's a bad thing, I think. That's a sign that you stagnated. So anyway, and if you're new, like, feel free to ask any questions, anything. I'll try to help you out however I can. We have some people, Clubs in from Los Angeles, Kevin from Trinidad. Awesome. Welcome. SportFit now says, is Ohio not in the United States? Maybe I don't. Maybe I don't remember saying it wasn't in there, but possibly the way I said it made it seem like that. So sorry about that. Definitely unintended. I don't even remember how I said it, but let's see. Aravind says, new from India. Awesome. Welcome. Must be pretty late in India. What is it in India? Like 1 o'clock in the morning, a little after 1 o'clock in the morning. So everyone from India and from those time zones over there, thanks for staying up so late to watch. Scotty says, retiring vet looking to get into coding. Well, welcome. And definitely, if you have any questions or anything, I'm more than happy to help you. There's actually an organization just for veterans that looking to get into coding. So if you're interested in that, send me a message on Twitter. My Twitter info is in the description, and I can hook you up. I met the guy that's in charge of that organization at a conference. So if you're interested, I can get you hooked up with that organization as well. So yeah, I'd be happy to help a veteran in any way that I can. Roni says, new from Israel. Awesome. Welcome. Siram says, can we text you in Facebook for some small tips? Yeah. Yeah, feel free. So you guys feel free to follow me on any social media things. If you check my YouTube channel, I have most of my social media stuff linked from there. So if whatever you're comfortable in, follow me in that social media channel, and then you can ask me questions there. So I'm on pretty much everything. Yeah, I'm on pretty much everything, unless there's some like really new social media stuff that I don't know about yet. But otherwise, most people ask me questions on Twitter. and that's cool. But if you're not really into Twitter and you want something else, then that's fine as well. I'm also frequently on Instagram, Facebook. So I do have a Snapchat, but I don't think that's really the place to get coding advice from. So not really on there that often. All right, so let me go back to this, and this will probably be the last. Let's see what time it is. So I'll do one more Pomodoro session of doing some of the work on this site, and then I'll try to get through as many questions in the live chat as I can. Let me see. I'm just do a few more questions that are at the top of the live chat, because I'm afraid that they'll get pushed off if I don't look at them now. So also, if I don't answer your question in the live chat, I'm sorry. Please put it in the comments for this video, or message me on some other social media platform, and I'll get to your question, because I really do want to answer all your questions. I just don't always have time during the stream. Mia asks, how did you work through that site being new? Oh, okay, that must have been must be in regard to the that first site that I showed you all. This site. Yeah, it took me a long time to work through that. When I was new, it was crazy. I actually didn't even have a computer for the first couple of days that I worked, which was insane, because like, I'm a web developer. What am I going to do without a computer? So once I did get a computer, then I started to look through it all, and I just kept looking at the code. I just inspected it in DevTools and kept looking and just messing around and seeing how far I could push it. And after a lot of trial and error of doing it like that, then I finally got it to what it is now. So it took a long time, and it was frustrating. It was a bit of a mess, but I really wanted to prove myself, and so I did it. It worked, and my boss gave me a ton of time to do it, so it was really cool. Since I was new, just really gave me a lot of freedom and time to figure things out. But anyway, yeah, it wasn't exactly fun in terms of the workflow, but it was kind of cool just to see how far I could take a platform that was obviously outdated. Alright, so I think I got far enough down on the chat that I won't lose too much, and now I can do some of this. So let's see. I guess we can just start into a home page now. And let me bring over, where did I put it? Got a lot of windows open, sorry. Need to find where I put the example. Oh, I see. It logged me out automatically, so that's another wonderful thing about this site, is that you frequently get logged out. You can't use the back button. If you try to use the back button, it gives you an error. Sometimes you can use it, but a lot of times, like, it just gives you an error message. So anyway, all right, so this is what we're going off of. Like I said, I don't have to go with this. So just for the basic layout that I think I am going to keep no matter what is, I definitely want this side panel. I may even go with an always open side panel, at least for desktop. And the top bar, I don't think I'm going to do this that says, says the name. I probably could do it, since everyone... Yeah, I'm not going to try to do this. So it's not going to say people's name. So that was kind of a fun little feature, but definitely not, not at all necessary. All right, so first things first, let's just get this base layout of the header, nav, and then we'll throw in a footer. I don't have one here, but we may as well throw in a footer, and that'll be a nice start. Alright, so let's go to the code here, and let's also, on my other screen, let me bring it over on this screen so you all can see what I'm seeing. I'm going to close in the side here in my code editor. I just kind of closed off the file, the pane that has all the files in there, just to gain us some space. Alright, so I'm going to kind of scroll through this just to see if there's anything that I really need to worry about. So this usage section seems kind of important, so let's just check this out before we do anything. Okay, so our theme to be provided. Okay, so it looks like I need a theme. Import a theme provider. It's an app.js, so Alright, I'm not, if someone has used Material UI before, let me know about this, but this is what I think it's saying. It seems like it's basically saying I need to anytime I use one of the components from there, I need to import this MUI theme provider. So can I get away with just importing this in my app.js, or will I actually need to import this in every, like, can I just wrap app in this, or what? I mean, potentially, like, could I go out to the index.js and wrap app inside of this? So I'm gonna, I actually want to go back to the page that has the examples, because that'll be better to get the visual. So let's see if it explains it more. Wow, I guess it does. Alright, so that's like, wow, their getting started page is really like getting started. Like, what is a single page application? Alright. Is this the one that says, yeah, version 1 is coming? Why don't we just use this version? How about that? Has anyone tried the new version? I mean, if they're about to come out with version 1, why are we building it with the earlier version? That's just a rhetorical question for me. It's not your fault. This is my fault. Well, I should have thought about this. Yeah, let's do that. Let's use this version. So Material UI next. Let's do that. Where's my? Yeah, okay, so we're gonna do yarn remove. I think remove is what you say. Material UI. Alright, that's important. Actually, I'm kind of glad I did this, because if you're using yarn, you want to do yarn remove. It's not a good idea to go in here into your package JSON and actually like delete something from this. It's better to use yarn. The reason being, when you do yarn remove, it'll update your yarn lock file, You don't want to mess with that manually. So always remember to do this through either yarn add or remove, and it'll work out better like that. Alright, so now we want to do yarn add, and we're going to use material UI next. Alright, so that's cool. I like the idea of using the latest stuff anyway. I think that's better. Okay. Alright, so now that we're through with that, material icons. Alright, let's install the icons as well. So yarn add material UI, is it? Oops, material UI icons. Okay. Alright, so now material theme. This looks like exactly the same thing that was on the GitHub documentation, so not really telling me much. Alright, I'm gonna I did look at the chat again. I could see you all were like, hey, you gotta read. Alright, so let me read at least the bottom of this chat again, because okay, so Bill says the MUI theme provider is only at app.js. Awesome. Okay, so just that. Really cool. Aaron asks, are you familiar with Redux? Not yet, but I am learning it. I will be learning it soon. And Bill says later on I'd wrap it even around the React router. Okay, that's good to know. Thank you. Oh man, Rishba says there are some missing components in Material UI v1. Okay. I think I'm going to deal with that. I think I'm okay with the missing components, and I'll work around that. If we need to build out some components on our own, I'm cool with that. Aaron says it's not yeah, I wasn't reading the chat. Okay, cool. Sebastian linked up. He put in a link in the chat about which components are actually supported. So thank you for that. I'll check that out. Sebastian says this will suck for him. Okay, Aaron says he's lying. You can remove dependencies from package.json. You just need to run yarn again after you do it. Okay, good to know. Yeah, that's cool. You can run yarn again. So if what I was saying about yarn and not editing package.json is not exactly true. So you just have to run yarn again. So if you're used to, I guess it would be the same way if you're using regular npm. Like, you can remove it from package.json, but it's not actually going to be removed until you run it again. So yeah, forget what I just said. Thanks for calling me out on that, Aaron. So just remember, if you don't use yarn remove and you edit the package.json directly, run yarn again. Oliver says, not a good idea to use an alpha version of a framework. Yeah. Actually, Sebastian, the link you sent for some reason is coming up with a blank page for me, so I'll have to check that out later. Is this the one? Alright, I guess it doesn't say. Alright, at this point I just want to build something. So if I have to switch back to the other one, it should be fine because it seems like the markup at least is somewhat similar. I mean, at least this part is similar. So the first part that I need to do will be similar. So let's just do that. Let's look at, let me make this a bit bigger so y'all can see. Oh wait, what did I just do? I tried to commit this and I didn't add the files first. Alright, cool. Git commit. There we go. Alright, so where's our app? There it is. Let me see. I actually don't want this on my... I want to put this at the level of the index. So I'm going to copy this and put this in here, and we're going to wrap this. Alright, cool. Alright, so no errors, great. And then just double check and make sure I didn't miss something. Great. Okay, good. Let's layout. No, I don't really want, I just want components. Where's our nav? Nav. Okay. That's what we need. Terminology is a little bit different than a materialized framework, so I have to get used to that. But let's check out what we need to do here. We need to import quite a bit. Wait a second, add button bar, class style sheet. Okay. I see. Terrible idea to use alpha version unless you're a contributor. All right, so I'm getting a lot of advice about not using the alpha in production. All right. You all have convinced me. I'll switch it back. I'm not gonna switch it back right now because you've already seen me switch it back and forth a couple times. So I will switch it back. later on today. So you guys, you all that are giving me advice, I totally understand what you're saying, and you have convinced me, but it felt a little bit like, I don't know, like when you're a kid and you're about to do something that's probably pretty dangerous, and like maybe your friends or your parents or somebody are saying like, no, you don't want to do that, don't do it. So I guess I was being silly and wanted to live dangerously. Alright, so I guess I should just double check really quickly to make sure that the let's see, make sure that everything is the same in terms of markup, since if I'm going to switch it. Nope. Alright. Let me see how much time I have. Okay, 4 minutes before I'm going to stop. So let's try to do something. Let's pull in, let's import this app bar. And let's get rid of some of this stuff. And then what are we calling this? App bar. Probably, I'm guessing that some of this isn't going to work since these icons I think are different for the newer version, but might be able to at least see something. Nope. Oh well. Let's see. I thought it said that the icons were different. I should double check before I remove these icons. I guess it doesn't say anything about the icons. So maybe I don't need to worry about it. So maybe I can remove it safely. Oops. Is it not? I thought it was. I thought that's what it was called. So we'll double check that. Whoa. Material UI. Oh, okay. I guess it's not. I didn't have to put that in when I was removing it. Okay, so John says living on the edge, Jesse's mantra. Yeah, I'm in a unique position, I feel like, to where I have like nearly complete freedom to pick what tools I want to use to build sites with, and I don't think I'll always have that, so I kind of like to take advantage of it to try a lot of new things. So that way it's good, like a learning opportunity. I don't want to build things the same way every single time. Alright, now we're going to add this back in. Okay, wonderful. Now let's see if this will work now. It's still not working. What the heck? What am I missing? App bar. Okay. So we have this header. Alright, it's giving me a header that has a height of 0. What did I do wrong? Okay, Aaron says try restarting the server. That's a good idea. Let's give it a restart. See what happens. It's going to be kind of rough. All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Aaron. That was great advice. It's going to be a little bit rough starting out because this is a new framework for me. I mean, I'm really familiar with material design, but in terms of this particular framework, I have no experience with. So I apologize for the slow start here. But I'm sure once I get the hang of it, it'll be nice. It'll be a lot nicer than trying to make all the jQuery stuff work with React. So awesome. So that's cool. That works. And that's probably, yep, my time is up. So anyway, if you were just here to watch me do my thing on the screen and set things up, then you can safely leave now because I'm done with that part of it. Now I'm going to go through the live chat and try to answer as many questions as I can before I end. I would like to end this around 4, and that'll be a 2-hour live stream, which I think is plenty long in terms of a stream. So anyway, so if you did watch and you need to go now and you're not worried about the question and answer session, thank you so much for watching, and thanks for all your help. And as I said earlier, feel free to ask me any questions on any social media stuff or in the YouTube comments, and I'll be happy to get back to you as soon as I can. I definitely don't consider myself an expert, but if you still want my advice in spite of that, I'm happy to give it. Now, for everyone that can stick around, I'm going to answer some questions. I'm going way up to the top of the live chat, so a lot of the chat is now not available to me anymore. But basically everything from around 2:30 p.m. Eastern time on is still available for me right now. So I'm going to just start there and go down. If I didn't get to your question, because let's say I got pushed off the page, I'm really sorry. Please ask me again in some other form, either in another live chat or in any social media stuff. I've even had people find my email address and email me, so that's cool too if you want to do that. No one has yet found my phone number and called me, so I'm waiting. I'm sure it'll happen one day. Okay, so Nagendra asks, I am new. What kind of project will you do today? How long does it take? Xana gave a nice explanation saying I'm refactoring a very old static site, and it's probably going to take about 3 weeks. So yeah, I'm going to stream probably around 2 hours every weekday for the next 3 weeks or so, and I expect that's what it'll take. If I decide to add some extra features, then it might take longer than that, but I'm thinking just keeping it with the base features that it has right now, I'm guessing about 3 weeks. And that's including, like, I realize there's probably going to be times when I can't work on this. I'm going to have to spend time in meetings and things like that. I know I have to do some interviews. We're interviewing for a web developer job here. I have some interviews scheduled coming up, and so there's going to be a lot of other stuff I have to do. So if I were dedicating all the time to this, I probably could do it in less than 3 weeks. And then there's also the additional, added extra time in that I'm using Create React App instead of Next, which I'm not as familiar with, and now I'm using Material UI instead of Materialize. So I'm going to have to learn some things as I go. Also going to attempt to use tests. Alright, Lucas says, what's up? What's up, Lucas? Thanks for joining us. Emilio asks, does anybody know what this site is going to do? Like general, like CRUD? It's not really gonna like do a ton in terms of like interactivity right now. It's just gonna have a basic contact form and not a contact form, but a project submission form that is gonna have a file upload. But I'm not creating a database for that information. At least I don't plan on it now. It might be cool to do, but we'll see how it goes. But basically that info is going to go to, through using an API, a REST API, it's going to go to our project management system, which is Rike. So that's the plan. If I have time, it would kind of be cool to hook up some sort of database to this, just to have like another place to back things up. Right now we have the problem that occasionally the files won't go to Rike. You can upload files through the API to Rike, but occasionally it won't work. And so it'll come through in the email, the file name, but the actual file will never make its way into Rike. So it might not be a bad idea to have another place where I store those. So we will be going over how to do file uploads in Node, which that'll be cool. Umberto says, I understood it to be like a service desk ticketing system. Yeah, actually it's exactly like that, Umberto. That's a good way to explain it. Abhishek says, I just started studying React from Full Stack React book. Is completing the book with examples enough for getting my first job? Ofek says no. Augustine says, try and see how it goes. So I would say it really depends. Like, getting your first job is going to depend on a lot of different things. So it's hard to say whether or not completing, one book or one course is going to be enough. Basically, to get a job, all you have to do is convince someone to hire you. So that it helps if you have experience and a good portfolio, but really you don't necessarily need that. So the more you can do to build up your portfolio, then the better chance you'll have at getting a job. So if you're learning a lot with this book and you're doing a lot of things, then yeah, maybe you could get a job with that. I'm not really familiar with the book, so I can't speak like to the content of that book specifically, but I do get similar questions occasionally, and my answer is just you can try to get a job at any point. You might get it because it really, all you have to do is convince somebody that you can do the job. So for some people, they study for a really long time before they get a job. Other people, a few months and they get a job. And then they have to learn a lot on the job. But I wouldn't say, like, don't feel like you have to complete so many things before you can start looking for a job. Look for a job while you're learning. And if you get it, wonderful. If not, keep learning and keep trying. In this industry, it's not like you need a certain type of certification, which I think is really cool. But I would say, as you're going through those examples, build up your portfolio. Actually do side projects, do some freelance stuff, do whatever you can, because that's really important to be able to prove that you can do the work. Bill says, I went back and listened to the first 25 minutes of the stream. I missed at 4 times speed. Caught up, and the speed diff was jarring at first. I must talk slow enough that that's possible to understand me at 4 times speed. I never thought about doing that. That's pretty cool. Maxime asked about the black GitHub. So let me show you my GitHub. So the background is black. So yeah, I kind of don't want to go into again how I got this to work, because I've done it a few times before in previous videos. But basically, there's a GitHub Dark theme. So if you do a search for GitHub Dark, you should be able to find all the instructions to do it. Maybe one day I'll do a video like showing how to do it, since a lot of people ask me about it. But for now, like, check out GitHub Dark. It looks like there's been a bit of discussion about women programmers and men programmers and stuff. So I don't know if I want to read out this whole discussion in the live chat. Yeah, I think I'm probably just gonna skip it. I don't want to like trigger anybody. If you came here looking for React and instead you get a debate on gender and coding and stuff. So I'm just letting you know, everybody involved in that discussion, I'm not going to read out the comments. Not that it's not a good thing to talk about. I just don't want to. I don't want this stream to get into like debatable topics. I just would like it to be a calm place. Abhishek asks, okay, so if I complete the freeCodeCamp React challenges, then can you get a job? So, I mean, I think my answer from before still suffices to this. It just, you can get a job when you get to the point where you can convince people you can do the work and to convince them to hire you. So, yes, freeCodeCamp will help you get to that point, but it's not a guarantee. So just, you got to do whatever you can to increase your skills, and try to network too. There's other things besides just the programming that can help you get a job. Being able to network, having a presence online via your social media and your projects, your portfolio, all those things are important. Okay, Bill says, great about a Create React app is built in the Jest/enzyme support. Okay, so for testing, I should probably start looking into Jest then. I think that's what Bill's saying here, since Create React app already has that. So that's good to know. I wasn't exactly sure what testing framework I should start with. All right. Okay, Xana said, John, that would be, it's John said to make your own in terms of CSS frameworks. Make your own less bulk. That would be really cool. I do really want to do that one day, to make my own framework that basically would fit everything that we use at the university for our brand standards and our style guide, and make a framework that if we hire people to build websites, that they can just use that, or if other departments end up having developers, that they can use that. So that is actually the end goal for me at some point. If I can just build off of work other people have done, though, that would be cool as well. I know it would be more lightweight if I did it myself, but I mean, there's a lot of things that I could just build on that other people have done that I don't necessarily need to redo myself. And then Xana kind of rightly says that would be ideal, but he only gave it 3 weeks. So yeah, that's kind of the thing. I'm not worried about actually building the UI, but in terms of then taking what I've built custom from scratch and then testing it in all different browsers and devices and screen sizes, like, that's the part that I think is the most difficult when you're trying to build like a CSS framework or something from scratch, is that these frameworks that are already there, so many people are using them that a lot of those issues have already come up, from their use. And so they've dealt with issues that I wouldn't even, know about so it's just, yes, it is a little bit more, possibly a little bloated, but you get the benefit of having basically all these testers, for free, that you have all their experience and all the issues that they've worked through. So I'll probably end up doing some sort of custom framework, but it'll definitely be built off of someone else's. Potentially, I might just end up trying to contribute to one of the material design React frameworks out there, and that might be better than trying to do my own. Just in general, for the entire community, it might be better to not make a new one and instead just try to make an existing one even better. Let me look through. It looks like I'm going back through there. There were a lot of different suggestions for CSS frameworks and stuff. So I really appreciate all the suggestions. All right, so Ryan asked, do you use the Pomodoro technique when you're working or just during live streams to answer questions? So I think I actually mentioned this earlier, so maybe you'd asked that question before I said it. But yeah, I do use the Pomodoro technique when I'm working, and I find it helpful. I should actually add that to the list of stuff that I'm going to do videos on. Because I've gotten some questions on that too. I think that would be useful just to go over how I use that. Tunahan asks, which backend are you using? I mean, this is going to be Node. Everything's going to be in Node, and in terms of in terms of database, there's going to be no database. Probably no database. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, this is going to be React and Node.js. Okay, about an hour ago, Kazakh asked how long this is going to be, because it was already 9 p.m. in Europe, so I guess it's a little late for that question, but usually the streams are around 2 hours long. Kaio asks, will you make the source code available? Yes, it actually is available now on GitHub. It's public. It'll be there, so you can check it out whenever you want. Okay, so I got some comments about the inject tap event plugin and how to initialize that. So cool. It says the drawer component doesn't work without it. So that explains why the drawer component wasn't working, I suppose. So thank you for that. Nathaniel says, I do not know how to use React. However, I'll be learning soon. Maybe after I'll do some pull requests. That sounds awesome. Yeah. Definitely. Let me know if you need any help and everything with learning React, and then that'd be really cool. VK3 asks, someone from Macedonia? Smiley with a smiley face. So anybody from Macedonia around? Vitor sends love from Portugal. Awesome. Thanks for watching. Jack Bennett asks, what's a good language to learn? I would say JavaScript, but I'm biased because that's what I mostly use. It entirely depends on what you want to do. So if you want to do web development, then learn JavaScript. That's your best. You're for sure going to use JavaScript at some point if you're a web developer. You may end up using other languages as well, but you wouldn't have to. You can build pretty much whatever you want on the web with just JavaScript. Nathaniel asks, any resources you'd recommend for learning React? The React documentation, like the official documentation, is great. If you want to spend money, Udacity has a React course right now that I'm doing, and I'm pretty impressed with it so far. FreeCodeCamp is good free resources. Code Academy has a free course. So I would check those ones out. And then there's a lot of YouTube videos about it as well. Maxime says from France. Awesome. I love hearing where everybody's from. It never gets old to hear where everybody's from. It's always really cool every time to hear people from all over the world that are joining in. Michael says, hey, just starting up a React project myself, creating a ride share app for a university that also records CO2 statistics per ride and an aggregate. That sounds really, really cool. So Michael, if you're still watching, I know that comment was from a while ago. If you're still watching, I'd love to see that. So if you could put either in the live chat or send me a message on Twitter or something, like if you have a link to the GitHub, a GitHub repo for that, that would be really cool. I'd love to see that. Shariar from Bangladesh, awesome. Raunak says it's 1 a.m. here, hyped, awesome. Anurag says, I'm from India. Awesome things going on. Cool. Thanks for saying that. What can I say? Oh, Greg says, I would love to see the Trello board when you're all set up. Yeah, I'm going to make the Trello board public, and then I'll put a link in the video description. So I'll have the link in all the descriptions for the videos when I'm working on this. So one of my coworkers is logged into the Franciscan University YouTube channel, and he occasionally types in silly things into the chat. So this time he's typing, once I did get a computer. Heh. So let's see. Raunak says, how do you plan what to do first? Setting up routing, directory structure, or go feature-wise in a project? I'd have to think about it a little bit to think about how I've done it before. Because I usually don't get a chance to have like a nice planning period. Occasionally, like I'm just pulled into projects sometimes that are, it's not exactly from scratch. So I don't know. It kind of does. It depends on what the project is. Sorry, I can't. My brain's just like not working right now. I just can't think of how I normally do that, and so I'll have to think more about that and get back to you. I would say, like, in big picture, I definitely think about features, but then when I actually get down to it, I go more by like structure. So like, you know, pages at a time, like get the main page layout and then each page. So I guess that's kind of how I go about it. Rich Bob says use Angular material. I assume you're being funny. So you're joking there. So not sure that would work for this project. Amazing says, please can you continue this live or maybe record it even if you have to voiceover later? I'll probably do some live streaming like in the mornings where I don't really give commentary and I just work. And when I do those, I do them on my own channel so that I don't take up the Free Code Camp channel all day. So if you're interested in that, if you follow my or subscribe to my channel on YouTube, then you'll get a notification when I do that. I also usually post on Twitter when I do it too. So either way, if you see my Twitter notification or whatever, you know, then you might be able to see more of the project. All right, man. There's so much in the live chat. I kind of think there's no way I'm going to get through every question, so I'm really sorry about that. Let's see. Hey, Evo, how's it going? I just saw Evo said, hey, Jesse, what you doing? So, and John B says, what are you building? So, yeah, I'm building a React, a pretty simple React site. Ibuka says, there's nothing wrong with using a framework that's on the bleeding edge. All right, thanks, Ibuka. I mean, yeah, it's probably a good idea not to use it in a project that I really need to do for work. Maybe in a side project I'll try like the really bleeding edge stuff. Aaron says, programming always starts off slow. Yeah, that's true. Ibuka says, if anything, you'll be encouraged to contribute to the project. Yeah, that's actually a good idea. So he's saying if you use something that's bleeding edge, you know, like alpha version or something of a framework, then you'll have a lot of encouragement to contribute because, I mean, you're likely going to see a lot of bugs and things. So I never thought about that, but that is a good point. Noldy says, slow is cool for us beginners. Even because of you, I'll start learning React. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. Yeah, Noldy, let me know how it's going with learning React, and if I can help with anything, I'm happy to help. Aaron says, keep on rocking, Jesse. Cool, thanks. Enix Core says, I'm too late again. Oh, sorry you're late. You can check the recording. I'll probably do, tomorrow I'm actually going to do a different time, so maybe it might be better for some people. I think I'm going to have to do a stream in the morning because I have a meeting at 2 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Marvin, Marvin, did you really try to post my my phone number in the live chat? You didn't post the last two. That's actually my. I think that is my work number. I'll have to look it up because I don't remember my work. I actually don't know my work phone number. 283. Yeah, Marvin, I think that is my work number. So I kept thinking people would get my cell phone number because that's out there as well. But yeah, you found it. I didn't even think about that. That obviously my work number is probably online. But my cell number is online as well because when I was freelancing, I used that as my business number. So anyway. If anybody really wants to call me, I never answer. I let everything go to voicemail. So if you leave a message, I'll get it. I just get so many like calls from like spam calls that I just never answer my phone anymore. Let's see. Bailey says, hello, new here. Just wanted to say thanks for doing this. When is the next time you'll be doing this? Welcome. And you're welcome. Thanks for watching. The next time will be tomorrow, so probably tomorrow morning. Augustine says, thanks for coding, mate. It was good. When is the next session? So yeah, same thing, probably tomorrow morning. John B says, how long have you been using React? Just this year. So I probably started building in React in the spring of this year, somewhere around there. So not actually that long. I think some point last year I tried to do like a Hello World app in React, but so I don't really count that because that wasn't really seriously trying to learn React. Aaron says, is there a way I could do a stream on freeCodeCamp? I've been programming for 18 years and love to teach. Yeah, I think that's possible. It's not really my call. You would need to ask Quincy or get a hold of Bo. So check probably on Twitter might be the best way to get a hold of Quincy. So or you can just tweet at freeCodeCamp. So he manages both the accounts. So check out the freeCodeCamp Twitter and maybe send a message and say like, hey, you know, I was checking out Jesse's stream. I'd like to do something like that. And he might be open to it. So I can't really guarantee anything, but that would be really cool. John says, is it possible to make the final production JavaScript and CSS assets saved separately for each page in a website, even though there are many shared components, templating, etc.? Yeah, I suppose. I suppose so. Maybe I'm sure maybe if there's some other people in the watching right now that have more experience with that, you could explain it in a better way. Let's see. Martin says, is finishing my freeCodeCamp front-end certificate enough to get first job? I'm almost done. I have CS degree already, but that hasn't been enough. Honestly, Martin, if you have a CS degree and you're going to do the freeCodeCamp certificate, I mean, you're in a good place right there because, you know, you're going to have the best of both worlds in terms of, you know, you have the kind of online do-it-yourself learning and you have the degree. So you're going to have an advantage in kind of those old school companies that still really value a degree. So I would say, yeah, go for it. And sometimes it can take a long time to get a job. I know when I was looking for work after I finished college, it took me a long time, and the jobs that I eventually got were not really great jobs. And then whenever I quit teaching, I used to be a teacher and was looking for work. It took me a while to find work too, and I eventually basically just did freelance work. Actually, hold on, my wife is calling, so she's about to be on the stream. Hello? Hey.
What time were you next home?
I was gonna leave maybe around 5:30. Is that cool?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
I guess, well, I'm gonna go to the store. The store.
Okay.
Alright, see you later.
Okay, bye. Okay. Sorry about that, but I want this to be realistic about how my normal day is, and so sometimes I get phone calls. Okay, so DJ says it could be enough to just get the certificate from FreeCodeCamp to get a job. From personal experience, I was able to get one without a CS degree after doing the front-end certificate. So that's really cool. So, so DJ is saying they were able to get a job without a CS degree with just the front-end FreeCodeCamp certificate. So that's really awesome. Congratulations on that. That's great. And it looks like you all are giving some great advice to Martin there in the live chat, so thanks for that. And yeah, Martin as well, some people are talking about like LinkedIn and different social media. Martin, if you want to follow me on some social media stuff, and yeah, that might help like expand your network a bit, like on LinkedIn. And if you want to like put out a tweet or something saying that you're looking for work, I'll be happy to retweet you. I don't have a ton of followers on Twitter, but most of the people that follow me are in tech, so it would be good to get those tweets up to get it out to people who might actually be able to hire you or pass it along to somebody. Okay, cool. Bill and Aaron are both saying yes, use Jest for the testing framework. Cool. All right, Aaron says, I made my own CSS framework for Hired.com. That's really cool. Aaron, if you're still with us in the chat, how long did it take you to make the CSS framework? And was it a difficult process? I'm really interested in that, because as I said earlier, I'd like to at some point. John B says, should I apply if an employer wants 5+ years experience when I only have 2 years of experience? I would do it. I've applied for jobs where I didn't have the experience that they wanted, because you never know. Usually when people put out job descriptions, that's like best case scenario of what they want, but they're willing to take less than that. And if they don't get anybody that meets those requirements, sometimes they're more willing to take less than that. So it's worth a shot. As long as the application process isn't like really difficult, then it might be a waste of your time. But if it's a pretty simple application process and it only take you, a few minutes or so, then I say go for it. Martin says, I'm already over a year past graduating. I should already have a job. Yeah, I mean, it can be really tough. I would say, like, finding a job, I don't know if I'd say, like, you should or shouldn't already have a job. Like, it just all depends. Like, your location, the job market there, there's a lot of factors that go into how easy or difficult it is to get a job. So don't get too down on yourself. Just keep at it. Keep trying. You may have to take a job just that you don't really want just to pay the bills. There's nothing wrong with that. Or like maybe you might want to take a job that is paying you a lot less than you probably would want, but it'll get you good experience to get the job that you want. So I mean, there's a lot of different factors to go into that, but I'd say just keep working, keep doing side projects if you can, or freelance work. Do anything you can to build up your portfolio, and keep applying. Keep applying to a lot of places, and even if you're not exactly qualified, that's the only way. I mean, at some point, it's probably going to work out. There's a lot of jobs out there, so you just got to keep at it. Wesley says, try to take advice serious and dare to take risks in life, and you will succeed in almost everything you put effort into. Anyway, thanks for that, Wesley. Yeah, I mean, definitely, when you're given advice by people, especially people that have, kind of they've been there and they've gone through that, like, try to learn all you can. And, taking risks, I mean, sometimes it does take that. It takes going out on a limb. Like, I quit my job and ended up going freelance, and it was really like I wasn't sure how things were going to go. Was I going to be able to pay the bills and stuff? And it led me to where I am now. After it took a couple years, a couple years of, it wasn't always easy. It was difficult, but I kept at it, and now I'm I have a job where I'm happy. I'm doing what I really like. I make enough to pay the bills. So, keep at it. Thanks for that, Wesley. Martin says... Actually, Martin said something that's a bit negative towards Wesley's comment. I'm not going to read it out. But Martin, I will say, if you're going to come on here and ask for advice and people are going to give you advice, like, you really probably shouldn't be negative at them, they don't owe you any advice. They're just kind of trying to do it out of the kindness of their own heart. So if you don't think the advice is good, just don't take it. But I don't think it's really right to be so critical of someone who's just trying to help you out and doesn't really owe you anything. Also, we try to keep the live chat a place where we're very non-critical of things. Like, I'm all up for a debate about various frameworks and tools and stuff, but I don't want any name calling or derogatory things being said. So let's try to keep this a positive place where people can feel free to express themselves here, give advice, ask for advice and things. So for everyone, just keep that in mind. Yeah, Martin, I'm going to read this one out here. Martin says, here I am getting berated by people who actually got jobs doing the same exact things. I've tried when I was unlucky and didn't. I mean, I would say, I just read all the comments there, Martin, so I'm not sure what you mean by being berated. Everybody's just giving you advice, so I know it must be frustrating not to get a job, but and the idea, I mean, the idea that you're just unlucky and didn't get jobs implies that they got jobs because they were lucky. I don't think luck has anything to do with it. Getting a job is based on, your skills, your effort, who you know, your connections. So, I mean, the people in here, most likely worked really hard. It's not easy. So, I mean, I wouldn't, don't belittle that, and don't try to boil it down to like luck or something. Like, you're just going to get, that's not going to be a helpful outlook, because then you're like, just turn that into something more creative. I know it's easier said than done, but if you see people around you getting jobs, you could take it, two ways or more. But, one way you could take it is, kind of getting down on yourself, saying like, what's wrong with me that I can't get a job? Another way you could take it is like motivation, like, hey, like, it's happening for them, it's gonna happen for me. Like, I'm gonna work hard, I'm gonna ask them for advice, see what they did. So anyway, I'm gonna skip through some of that, because the debate is kind of getting a little heated there. Yeah, it looks like Martin's kind of still going on with this lucky stuff. I will say this, like, Martin, there's no such thing as luck, man. I mean, I'm like, there is the, like, it's not luck. It's not like these people have some good luck charm to get jobs. It's there are steps you take, right, to do to get jobs, and you keep working at it. Will some people fail? It's possible, yes. Some people will probably fail and not get jobs. There are people without jobs. It happens. But I don't really think it's right to say that all these people in here that have jobs just got lucky. I mean, that's not the case. You have to do all the work and put in all the effort. And even then, sometimes it's not enough. But that doesn't mean that these people are just lucky and didn't put in the work. And it doesn't mean that they didn't, in a sense, earn what they have. So I know you're really frustrated on that, but yeah, just not. I'm not liking all the negativity, because once again, everybody on here is really trying to help, and you asked for the help, and they're just doing what you asked them to do. Let's see. Nathaniel said, I'd appreciate it if you send me some links to React resources on FreeCodeCamp forums. I'm a moderator on the forum, so you should be able to find my profile easily from the team list. I'll see. I actually want to do a video on that, so maybe I might do a video on that if I get a chance soon. I don't know if I'll get a chance to put them on there. The best thing to do would be either put it as a comment on this video or send it to me on like Twitter, basically that same request, so I don't forget about it, and then I'll try to do it. One asked about the project being in GitHub. It's in GitHub now, but there's not really much to it. Shivam asks, how is Angular versus React in terms of performance? Shivam, I'm not really sure I can answer that because I'm not nearly as familiar with Angular as I am with React. All I can say is that I've been very happy with React so far when I'm using it. but that's not really enough to answer that question properly. So I apologize, but I'm not going to try to talk through an answer when I'm really just not confident in my knowledge of Angular to give a good answer. Victor asks, can JavaScript be used for making simple offline applications too? I often have an idea for a tiny thing I want to make, and from Denmark. Yeah, you can build offline applications with JavaScript. So if you're like with React, you can build web apps, but you can also build apps that will work on a desktop. You can build apps that will run on mobile phones. So JavaScript is very versatile in terms of what it can do. Evo says, in regard to the performance issue between React and Angular, says, I think a lot of the performance talks can be skipped. The performance only really matters when you need fast rendering application. I'm talking over 60 frames per second. Okay, so that's cool perspective there. Yeah, and that's probably true. I mean, really, it depends on what you're doing, but for most sites and web apps, the difference between one framework and another in terms of performance probably won't even be noticeable to the average user. Like I said, depending on what you're doing, it may not be noticeable. Alright, I'm trying to skip through. Okay, I miss Anna saying goodbye. I always miss her saying goodbye, so let's see. I'm going to try to skip through a lot of this stuff. And just get to some questions. Martin actually says it's really demotivating to watch a stream like this where everybody already has jobs or internships. Why would you be watching this if you already have a programming job? Actually, there are a lot of people that don't have jobs yet that watch this, and I've already had at least 2 people that started watching when they didn't have a job, and then have gotten jobs since then. So it's definitely a mix. A lot of the people that are actually contributing to the chat do have jobs, and that's why it probably seems like most people have the jobs. But it just so happens the people with jobs usually have the most experience, so they're able to contribute the most in the live chat. But definitely do have a mix of people, and we have people of a variety of ages all over the world, and are all skill levels too. I frequently have people come on here and say like, hey, I've had people say, I just started learning to programming yesterday. So definitely different, all different people. For instance, Victor just writes, thank you guys, just getting started with coding, and I've heard a lot of good about JavaScript. We'll probably keep going down that route. Awesome. That sounds good, Victor. And if you need any help with that or anything, you run into any trouble, just let me know. I'd be happy to help if I can. Oh man, Shivam said it's at 1:45 a.m. in India, and that was a little while ago. So Getting pretty late. So everybody from India over there that's watching really late, thanks for staying up and watching. Martin says, I have almost nothing on my GitHub too, but I'm finishing the free CodeCamp certificate right now, which is something. Yeah, actually, I definitely, Martin, I definitely recommend trying to fill out your GitHub profile as much as you can, because like I know sometimes like when we're hiring people here and I have to look through resumes, if someone has a GitHub profile, I'm way more interested automatically, and then I check their profile, and if they're actually using it, they have stuff on there, that's a big plus to me. I'm always nervous when somebody applies and they don't give me their GitHub profile. I usually try to look it up anyway, and if I can't find it, I wonder like what are they doing? You know, where's all their code at? It doesn't automatically mean that they don't know what they're doing, but it's just like I can't see what they're doing. So that's a big thing, and I've actually heard other people who hire a lot say like if you have a GitHub profile, you're automatically on the top of the pile if you have an active GitHub profile and stuff on there. So definitely try to get as much on there as you can, and side projects. If you're doing freelance work, I would try to put it like in your contracts that all your code is yours and you're allowed to put it on GitHub and things like that, so that you can get that stuff on there. Martin saying all my projects look bad though. Yeah, Martin, I would say it's better to have something on there than not. If a person's hiring, they're going to look at, like when I look at somebody's GitHub profile, like if I'm thinking about doing an interview or hiring them, I don't usually get stuck on like the final product. Like I want to see the process. So even if the end product doesn't look that good, if I can go back and see the process of them actually kind of improving things, and if I could see like their later projects are actually getting better, then that at least shows me that they're teaching themselves and picking up new things, and that's really important. To me, I would rather hire somebody who shows the ability to teach themselves new things quickly and improve upon their work than somebody who's like already knows everything, right? Because even if you know everything now, a year from now, there's going to be new stuff, and it's not going to be, you're not going to be at the top of the game anymore. But somebody who has that ability to rapidly teach themselves new things and improve, they're always going to be on top of things. So I would say, I mean, even if you're not entirely satisfied with the projects, it still gives people an idea of your thought process, to read your commit messages, and see what's going on, and how you work. That's important. Blake says, what is Jesse's channel? The link to my channel, my YouTube channel, is in the description to this video. Is it Jesse? It might be Jesse Weigel. Is it Jesse Weigel 29 maybe? I don't remember what the thing is, but it's in the description. Nathaniel says, I'm applying to colleges to get a CS degree in the next 4 to 6 years. Wish me luck. Yeah, good luck. Blake asks, what is localhost 3000 server? Yeah, so I guess you're talking about like this up here, the localhost. When I run the server locally to work on my site, that's what it is. It's just a local server, port 3000. Martin's asking about GitHub and like how to do things. freeCodeCamp actually has a video series on GitHub, and then Udacity has a free course on Git and GitHub. I definitely recommend those. Those will be a great introduction. to using Git and contributing on GitHub, because that's really important. A lot of places want people who know how to use Git, and so that'd be a really kind of a plus to be able to put on your resume. Okay, it looks like Martin left, so probably Martin didn't hear some of those later suggestions that I gave, which that's kind of stinks, but maybe he'll watch the recording. Alright, let me scroll down. This video's already gone on way longer than I had expected, so I'm going to kind of skip a lot of the comments and just try to go to the questions now. Dominic asks, what's the value of using React versus just HTML, CSS, and JavaScript? I don't know. Let me see if somebody else answered. Okay, it looks like Bill answered. I remembered this time to check. Component-based reloading is a major value. Not having to refresh the entire DOM when data updates. Yes. Dominic asks, is there any value in learning React over the .NET framework? It just depends on, I guess, what you want to work on. I don't really enjoy working with the .NET framework when I have had to work on it. Now, usually I've had to work on like really old things that use .NET, so maybe that's why I didn't enjoy it as much. So it just depends on what you want to do. You know, if you want to stick with all JavaScript stuff, then learn React. If you want to learn other stuff, then learn .NET. If you really want to work at a place that uses .NET, then learn .NET. Okay. Scotty says, are tutorial projects good for GitHub? If you don't have anything, then yeah, for sure. It's better to have something than nothing. I think a tutorial project at the very least shows that you are learning on your own, and that's important. That's better than not having anything or just not having a lot. Let's see. John B asked, Jesse, do you think it's important to study up on data structures for interviews? I don't really know. I guess it kind of depends on where you're interviewing at, what the position is, and try to figure out as much as you can about the interviews. I think if you go on Glassdoor.com, people will post interview questions that they've gotten there. So if you can research and see, like, you'll probably get a good idea about what questions people have been asked and what's most important to study up on. Scotty says, should the new guys fear the whiteboard questions? I don't know. Don't be afraid of the whiteboard question. I mean, if you do your do your work, do the studying, get ready, then don't be afraid of any of that. The worst that can happen if you go on an interview and you don't get the job. You go to another interview. Just all you can do is just try to prepare as best you can. John B says, what do you look for specifically on a potential candidate's GitHub profile? Yeah, I personally, I want to see like, what have they worked on? Does that relate to the job that I'm actually hiring them for? And then I want to look at like how many commits are they? How consistent are the commits? Like, have they contributed? If they've contributed to other projects and open source projects, that's a big plus. If they've got because that tells me that the people that are in charge of these open source projects that are maintaining them have thought that their code was good enough to actually pull in. So that's a big plus. That's like a vote of confidence from people who are established in the industry. So that's a big thing. If you can get that, that would be impressive, at least to me. And then other than that, though, just seeing like what are you working on? Are the projects good? Are you showing improvement in what you're working on? Things like that. Yosef says, hi Jesse, is it necessary to know something about backend or server while you learn to be front end? And by the way, I'm overwhelmed. I'm sorry you're overwhelmed. Don't get too discouraged about that. Just keep at it. You'll get less and less overwhelmed as you go on and get more confident. If you're learning front end, you don't have to know a lot about back end. It just kind of depends on what you're working on. And so I would say, like, if it interests you, go ahead and learn back end. But if you feel like you have to learn back end stuff to be good with front end stuff, I don't think you necessarily do. And then if you get a job where there's back end people and front end people and stuff, and you probably will never have to do very much at all with back end. But like me, with my job, we don't have back-end people here, so I do have to do some stuff with back-end. So I can't say for sure that you'll never need back-end, because you certainly might, but it's not absolutely required. One asks, one says, in terms of like I think we're talking about FreeCodeCamp projects and different projects, is you can try to build something HTML and JS first, then try to do the same with React. That's actually a really good. I've done that. I did that with the weather app for FreeCodeCamp, and it was really cool to see the difference in terms of time for development and then the final product. So that's really good advice. Thanks, Juan. Okay, so I am finally at the end of this live chat. This was like an epic chat. So we had significantly more viewers today than we have, and they were really active in the chat. So thank you so much. I'm like really pumped that so many people were interested in this and stuck around and contributed in the chat. I really appreciate that. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll be back tomorrow. Like I said, tomorrow will probably be an early stream because I have a meeting at my normal stream time. So I will put it on Twitter at the latest tomorrow morning when I'm going to stream, and I will also schedule a stream, so it'll be on the YouTube channel for FreeCodeCamp. So anyway, thanks everyone. Thanks for watching, contributing, and have a great day. I'll see you all tomorrow.